Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening. This is Angie, your Extreme Encourager for your Live at 5. Today is December 4th, and I mentioned from the last series in November that I'm going to be talking about what's causing issues regarding gluten and the impact it can have. So I mentioned, or I shared one of my pictures that I had a really tough time sharing on the internet. It took me a minute to even share that. See if I can share my screen or not. I saw something that looked like I could share a screen, but maybe not. Either way, I'll take pictures. I'll share the pictures in the comments. But today I want to talk about what you are eating. So I learned the hard way that I was allergic to wheat and gluten. And the term is, a lot of people say gluten intolerant or gluten insensitive or gluten sensitive, but the formal title is actually non-celiac gluten sensitivity. So I do not have, or I've never been diagnosed as having celiac disease. However, I know I have learned that I am very sensitive and impacted by wheat/gluten, or gluten, which also includes rye and barley. So I want to talk about what you're eating, because one of the things we can talk about this month is making a plan for the new year as we go through, how you can actually think about changing things up. So one of the things I want to focus on is, so I shared a picture where my face was really, really, really ugly, for a better word. It was very uncomfortable. I felt horrible. If you, and again, I'm gonna share the pictures for the purpose, at least in the comments, and see if I can actually add it to a video later. But one of the things I want to point out was that sometimes you look how you feel, and I looked and felt horrible. And so that's exactly what was going on. I felt horrible, I looked horrible, and I felt like life sucked. But it also impacted how I was able to perform at work, whether I realized it or not. I couldn't concentrate. In addition to the whole facial thing, I was having anxiety. One of the things, I think I went to my doctor 3 times in 2 months because of chest pains, not knowing why. And my face was, jacked up. I ended up having like discoloration on my neck, and really very, very tough skin on my face. I had difficulty concentrating. So one of the things, and I'm going to be very candid, I'm going to probably also have an affiliate link. I learned how to get better via J.J. Smith's DHEMM program. It's DHEMM, Detoxing, Hormone Balance, and Eating Clean, Mental Mastery, and Move. That was told in her book, Lose Weight Without Dieting, Working Out. She had a portion in there where you actually go through a process and see if you're gluten intolerant. So you do a test yourself by checking out food. So one of the things when I had this whole facial horrible experience, I went to a dermatologist to see what was going on, and they said you're allergic to something. And I was like, well, what? I'm like, we don't know. Like, this can happen again? And they said yes. So that wasn't a happy camper. I was not a happy camper. I was devastated because I was like, I don't know what happened to cause it. I don't know how to fix it. And I felt like crap. But also by reading the book Wheat Belly by Dr. Jackson. Anyway, Wheat Belly also is a Facebook group. I learned more about just the impact of wheat and gluten and how it affects your thinking process, your emotions and depression and things like that. So one of the things I wanted to stress is that if you are having issues with what you're eating, or if you don't know, hey Ashley, if you don't know that things that you're eating is impacting you, pay attention to what you're doing and how you're behaving and how your mood may change. Because one of the things you got to think about, if you've been eating the same way for years, this is your normal. If you feel sad at times, if you feel blah for whatever reason, and you've been doing it for years and years, this is your normal. This is what you consider to be normal. You really don't know that there is a possibility of something different until you actually experience it. So one of the things I realized, they didn't know what was going on. They gave me steroids to fix my face, and even that looked almost as bad as it did getting better. So it was a really, really rough experience. And one of the things, like I said, I didn't know what I was eating was impacting my ability to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do stuff at work. Didn't want to go to work. Actually, I went to work on Valentine's Day primarily because I was already off a number of days beforehand, and you had to go in if you didn't have a doctor's note. So I'm sitting there looking pitiful and like, who done it and why? Can't smile, can't do anything. And people are noticing, like, hey, you're not smiling. And I was like, I can't. My face hurts. It's stuck. I mean, it was just stuck. If I did like that, it was like my face would crack. And it was really, really horrible. I couldn't wait to just go home. And then I made a doctor's appointment again because, again, I had chest pains, not understanding until much, much later that my diet was causing a lot of that issue. And so once I changed that and got the gluten-free, so one of the things, just getting healthier, got a lot of stuff resolved. So one of the portions I was doing was thinking I was doing something healthy. I had a chicken salad sandwich on wheat bread. And my face jacked up again because it got kind of clear because I was like removing a lot of stuff out of my diet. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? I'm at the same place at work eating. And then I had a chicken salad sandwich on a wrap. And I went through all the wraps that they had, like the jalapeno wrap, the plain wrap, the spinach wrap, everything. And my face just kept having a reaction. I tried the same chicken salad on a bed of lettuce. There was no reaction. No facial issues, no anything. So that let me know by elimination, I'm allergic to the wheat and the gluten. So I kicked it out of my diet. And also I don't mess with the rye and barley. And I found out recently that U.S. food information is not necessarily required to explain if there's rye or barley in your food packaging. So now I'm going to be extra sleuthy in finding out if there are certain things that are react. Because sometimes it says gluten-free, says wheat-free, that kind of good stuff. But then I'm still having a slight reaction, or I feel like I've been glutened. So one of the things you need to pay attention to is what you're eating. So you might want to start slowly looking at certain things. Most people, when they think about wheat and gluten, they think about bread and not having sandwiches. And that's a good place to start, but you will be surprised at just how many things have wheat in it. So one of the things I mentioned before about eating out gluten-free, Red Lobster I love because they actually have this big book and you can actually go through all of the things, and they have ingredients like wheat-free, or if it has wheat in it, if it has dairy in it, if it has soy in it, if it has peanut in it, if it has like shrimp or whatever, because sometimes I am still eating a seafood place, but I have shrimp allergies. So you can actually get educated about what is inside the food and make decisions. Like I think I mentioned before, my heart got broken when I found out that while I was Red Lobster, you got broccoli that wasn't gluten-free. I'm like, because of the seasoning. So when you're eating things, you can start off with bread because it's the easiest thing people think about. But you got pasta, you have pastries, you have, like I mentioned, seasonings. Even soy sauce is not gluten-free. So, but they do make a gluten-free soy sauce. So if you like Chinese food, P.F. Chang has options, things like that if you're eating out for gluten-free food as well as soy sauce. They have gluten-free menu options. They have even gluten-free desserts. One of the best things you can have when you're talking about gluten-free desserts, yes, think about sugar, is chocolate. They can't do too much to chocolate. I'm not talking about chocolate cake per se, but they can do a lot more with just chocolate and providing it as a dessert without a lot of challenges. So sometimes restaurants, it's a lot to go through and do the gluten-free stuff when you're going out, because you have to, one, to get the ingredients that are gluten-free, and then preparation also is a big thing. You want to avoid cross-contamination. So one of the things you want to think about is paying attention to what you're eating. So pastas, there are gluten-free options without the wheat flour. Breads, there are gluten-free breads like Sharp brand, Udi's, and a number of restaurants. I just found out Johnny Rocket had like a gluten-free burger bun that you can even still have. They casabas and even forgot the name. Other restaurants, even Italian restaurants, they may have penne pasta that they make gluten-free, so you can get the same pasta options without the gluten as the base. They have gluten-free flour. So pay attention to what you're eating. So again, you can get sandwiches lettuce wrapped. You can make it a salad in itself. Just get a better lettuce and have the same ingredients. You just don't have the bread if you don't want to make a major change. You also want to make sure you're getting gluten-free products. You got places that have gluten-free flour. I am domestically challenged, but I can still bake some things with gluten-free flour. Maybe small things, but it's still opportunities to actually still have pancakes and waffles. I made sure, domestic challenge that I wanted some waffles. I got me a waffle maker. I got gluten-free flour with King Arthur. You can have options like that when what you're putting in. But you need to pay attention to what's going in your body, because when you're eating it, it can affect your mood. It can affect your thought process. You're slower than you normally think. But again, if this is your normal, you don't realize that you can be better. You can be different. And also even aspects of depression, like when you just don't feel motivated to do anything. Sometimes it really is about the food that you're eating. So again, I was home 2 days beforehand. I drugged myself to work, felt like crap, looked like crap. And then I just made a decision after the doctor's appointment to see what I could do different. And once I started reading and learning and then applying it, it changed how I felt, how I do things, how I think, how I can even process stuff. Because if you can't actually even think about certain things, it's just not going to register. It's like, I don't know if you're a fan of Homer Simpson. It's like, we're going to, he's going to have a heart operation. They said, we're going to open you up and, do something with your heart. They said, dumb it down. They said, and basically had to tell me, we're going to open you up and tinker with your ticker. So when you think that you can't even process thoughts and ideas that are coming at you from people, just because it's like, it's just not, you're not grasping it, it may not be what you think. You could be having an impact from a food allergy, impacting the way you think, the way you process, the way you can listen, even to the fact the way you concentrate. And there are even issues, like I said, I was going to the doctor twice, and I was like anxiety, because I really just couldn't process and do things. When I changed the way I ate, I changed the way I behaved. It was like night and day. So if you're thinking about it, so my face got jacked up for a number of reasons. Just eating was just one part. And I thought I had just, did something crazy at Olive Garden one day, and it had nothing to do, well, it did because I had pasta, but I didn't know that it contributed it. So next live at 5 on Monday, I'm going to be talking about what's in your hair, because that's the other shocker. And then even after that, what are you putting on your body? This is my story. Some people, I saw somebody say, oh, it's just about what you eat. Not for me. What I eat, what I put in my hair, and what I put on my body are all factors of what happens to me when I've gotten gluten. It's everywhere. All the different products that you have. It's a different lifestyle. So I'm going to keep talking about it. I'll make sure I share some tips and things also in writing. I'm actually just going to put a book together and make sure I offer it. So till next time, what you're eating could definitely be impacting how you perform in your job, because if you can't concentrate and if you can't think as well as you want to, you can't do as well as you know you can, that you have the aptitude for. And just think about it. Sometimes your normal is really not your normal. It's just what you got used to. But it's not what you have to stay at. Because you change your diet, you can change what you do. You can change how you feel. It can change the impact that you have. So, till next time, Angela Watkins, your Extreme Encourager. I look forward to you. Leave me comments, suggestions. Again, I'll post my picture in the comments. If you know someone you don't tell them they look like crap. But if you know someone who looks, you look a little swollen, are you sure you're doing okay? Check on their diet. Tell them about some possibilities of food allergies. You ain't got to break it down and tell them they can't have cake ever again. But let them know what they're going through, other people have gone through. And there are solutions that are available. So until next time, talk to you soon.